So let's have a reality. Let's start real for a moment and talk about the situation. Talk about the police department or the law enforcement department and how it's being run, what we see, how it's being viewed in the public eye, and what the reality is. Because right now you have an organization that has been established, I mean, pretty much for the longest time, and that came through a period called the civil rights period, where it was common for the same police department to abuse minority people that looks like myself, or any black person or person of minority. So now what we see 40 or 50 years after is a heritage of this type of culture, because one thing we found out with police department or with law enforcement people, their children and their grandchildren walk in the same. You heard a lot of cops say, my father was a police officer, my grandfather was a police officer. These are the same people. These are the same. Your grandfather was a part of the civil rights movement that abuses black people. So the practice of racial profiling comes and it continues from that period of time. So now we're in an age where the situation has been reformed, because now you have civil rights laws that on the side of the minority, and because of these civil rights laws, your department is hemorrhaging out millions of dollars in lawsuits that could be avoided, because you could have a procedure and follow those procedures, in a wise way where you could still do your job and not paying out money. Because when you're running a department, when you're running a business, and you're hemorrhaging out millions of dollars in lawsuit, it makes it seems like your business is not properly managed. Any other business, or any other looking at any other business, one would think that that is the situation. Your department is no different, because to see what has continued, as I said before, is a culture of abuse of minority. But what had not been noticed is the changes in technology, how things have changed over the past, how we have a generation now of younger people, the smartphone generation, that has come to think different and is a little bit more friendly to minority. Now you see people tend more to get along, regardless of what race you're from. We're living in a culture now that is so diverse. You have gays and lesbians, you have black and white, you have all different kind of things that other people do that would offend you, but you have to live with them and you have to accept what they are and who they are, because you live in a world where everybody have rights. So what the police department, the law enforcement department of every city has done is, you have created a culture that presents a problem, that earns you a problem, that makes your job hard. Because when you fail to connect with the community that you're in, I don't care if you're presiding over a rural community, an urban community, or whatever type of community it is your community, and it is your job to connect with that community. So what does that leave us? Leave us with a situation where the crimes that we, the people, as a community, needs to see solved, the justice that we need as a people, we cannot get that justice because too much time has been spent on the matter that this maybe not be right, but it doesn't concern us that much. But when it comes to life, when our families are dying, are getting killed, and there is no justice, no closure about it, then that's a problem that we have to solve. And these are matters, of our concern. This is why we created a system to help the police department and to help the law enforcement department to connect with the community and solve crimes. A system that is more tasteful to the community, that is more convenient within their hand. We put the system within their phones, their cell phones, smartphones that they always have, everybody always have, so that the technology that they need to solve the crime is right on under their finger, and it's everything in real time, and it's more tasteful doing this than to be considered as yourself as somebody who's term they use snitching to the police department, make you look like you're selling out on your community, or that you're informing as we use in some country, that kind of thing. Because you see, the thing about it, the reality about it is that you have a very tough job to do. And here's what's tough about your job. Within the community, like the community with people of my color, black people like myself, everybody thinks of you as the worst person if you snitch, if you provide information, to the police department. If somebody has been shot and killed in the worst way, and somebody from the same community go back and relay information, then that person is considered as a snitch. But the same people who consider those people as a snitch, when their family get killed, when it's their time to get justice, they are the same people coming out on television asking anybody with any information who knows who did this can help. So when it comes to worrying about people snitching on other people, don't worry about it, because it's all hypocrisy. The fact of the matter is that he who feels it knows it, and anybody who doesn't have a family who has been killed, and no justice has been served, they wouldn't know what it feels like. So what we're saying to you is that what you don't understand is that the community is far more willing to work with you than you believe. You might believe that it's the end of the road, you ain't never gonna get nowhere, nobody ain't gonna tell you anything. You would be surprised. If I'm telling you this, if somebody like myself is telling you this, then you must know where I'm coming from. And that is why we went and we programmed the MOPASS Rapp within the MOPASS system, and we are ready to set that up into any department that needs this help, so that you can connect with your community in real time, get the information that you need in real time, see what's going on the street, and be able to solve crime. Because the reason why we do this is because we know that if the information is put in the right place, we know if we create a system, a network that puts it inside a smartphone in the right way, then people will respond to it. So we are ready right now to work with you. You raise your awareness and we raise our awareness and we get this job done, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is solve crime, get the right people punished. We're not, your mission is not any different from us, from ours. It's just that the police department have a way of doing things that the community does not accept, especially when it comes to minority people. But it's not because they hate the police department, or anybody trying to be a citizen against law enforcement and everything, because everybody believes that they have to be a system, they have to be an organization set up to deal with people who violate other people. So we believe in that. It's just that we just need to do it the right way and do it within a way that costs less money. So if you're paying out millions of dollars to lawsuits, that's not benefiting your business anything. Our system costs a lot less than those millions, and it's effective. It will put you on the right path so that you don't have to have a record of a non-productive record showing up when it comes time to give an account for how many of these crimes was caught and how many of these crimes was punished.